Red zone blitz, I feel nothing. Jerry had to trade him to the one team that made him weep after kicking his ass in his old age. Never changed, Jerry. Never changed. Yeah, Jerry said straight up, this is the worst loss I've ever been a part of, and then traded his best player to them. Somebody else make words. I can't do it. I can't. Like, what is your plan? I want the blueprint on how this helps your team. Well, I didn't pay somebody. You know what Jerry Jones is going to do with the money he saved? I'll give you a crash course because we've been here about 5 different times. When you aren't paying other people and you have a ton of cap space, you know how he's going to fill that? I'll tell you how the Eagles would fill that. They would sign a $13 million per year running back. In the first 4 years of it, it would count for $4 million a year because that's how they invest it. They write the cash check to get a big-time player who doesn't count much against the cap earlier. You know what Jerry will do? Sign Eric Kendricks 5 times and tell you, that's what we saved our money for. Here we come, Super Bowl.
Well, hopefully go get Tyler Smith done. Go get Tyler Smith done.
For what? He's going to set the market. We don't do that. We don't want to do that. We're tired of getting beat up.
Today, anything's possible.
But you look at the reaction from the teammates and Overshown and certainly Trayvon, and I just, they're devastated.
What is Trayvon going to do now?
Okay, so you've been funny. You've been funny. Come on.
Trayvon Negan start hurting again.
You've been funny.
How will he live? How will he breathe?
I said Overshown first, though. I said Overshown first.
I don't care who you said first. What Diggs gonna do? His bestie's gone. Who's gonna walk?
We know he's probably gonna be gone. We know he's probably out the door next. We know he's probably out the door after the season. But again, coming into the season, this is a blow to their chance. I mean, Dak, CD, they never saw this happen. They thought they were going to have Micah. Dak said that it's the latest, whenever my days and next days are mixed up, but was that Monday, Tuesday when we talked to him? He said, well, this is going to get done. He had no doubt in his mind that Micah was going to be on this team.
Maybe Jerry honestly just got exhausted of everyone feeling that way about him because he sees that as a reflection of he's losing negotiations. That in this moment where he's like, we can absolutely trade him. All the players are like, no, we've been here before. We know.
He saw you bending over and tooting up. He saw you bending over and tooting up. He went, I'm going to show Jeff. I'm not going to bend over and toot up.
I buy that. I buy that. I buy that this front office reached a point where they're tired of hearing about how they lose negotiations.
But also, screw it. I think 2 things can absolutely be true. Is Micah Parson an absolute generational talent? Yes, and yes. But we all have been around here long enough. There has been chatter and chirping from that front office, from people in that building who have talked about repeatedly that they were not happy with the way that Micah always went about his business. And Clarence, you reported on that. We've talked about that. I've said it on my podcast. It's not a secret. Now, do you get rid of a guy because of that? I would say no, not that level of talent. But I'm not pulling the strings here. This is something that when you get to this point, and I do believe that Jerry made the wrong decision, but there was enough people in that building who may or may have not had the ear and the attention of Jerry when it came down to this, that may have been feeding him information to say, this might be a guy who, if you pay him this money, he might give you his butt to kiss.
Yeah, but see, Jesse, I just push back on that. It sounds great hindsight, but if you're gonna do this, do it during the draft when you can maximize your value. He had already offered him a deal to come back. Jerry wanted him on the team. Okay.
Yeah, Jerry also offered Mike McCarthy a deal. Like, he'll offer you a deal.
It's not the same comparison. I'm sorry.
That's different though. Jesse, that is different though.
It's not even close to the same.
He'll offer you a deal that he feels comfortable with.
Okay.
It's absolutely the same. It's like, hey, I'll tolerate you for another year or 2 or whatever if I get it at my price. But at your price, I won't tolerate it.
Okay, but my point is, again, if you're going to do this, you're going to be smart and do this, as you're saying, this is the wrong time to do it. This is the wrong time to do it. If you're saying they told him this, they've been telling him this, and I can tell you that people in the '90s said that Michael Irvin's a problem. I don't like the stuff he does. Okay, that Leon Lett's a problem. That Charles Haley's a problem. Okay, yes, they're going to be people that are going to not like how you comport yourself, but when you're a great player, they put up with it. Again, the biggest problem with this
Until
team is they don't have enough great players. So all those chirping don't mean nothing if you're not winning. It does just help you win.
Listen, brother, I'm not arguing that fact. I'm saying that could it have been done in around the draft? Sure, maybe Jerry didn't feel like that. Maybe he felt like, I talked to him back in December and January, and I got him locked in on a deal that I really like. So I'll tolerate that for enough, and then it changed. So as I'm saying, it changed. It wasn't like that. This was always a happily ever after situation. It had moments of volatility in that building from a lot of different people.
You got to take the keys from Grandpa. Ali, where you at?
I was in the middle of the Wings podcast when this happened, so I just walked right out the door like Clarence did the other day. So,
what's next? Paige Beckers is going. We're getting rid of Paige Beckers too.
Yeah, probably.
You ask yourself who's next, but like at the same time too, like keep in mind, like going even far before this all ever happened and this whole Micah thing, like these coaches and everything were game planning week one. Like, all right, we got Philly, then we got the Giants, we got that tough stretch coming up later in the year as well. And now, like, how do you plan around this? Like, how are you supposed to go out there and compete knowing number 11's on it? Like, especially this happened before the season. Like, Chill, as you mentioned, like it makes sense that this happens before the draft because you get the value in return. You can use that value right away. But now you're at a point where like you're kind of stuck in a situation where you make the deal. Okay, you get something in return, but that kind of shuts down this season. Like we're talking about a player that, and very few guys can really impact, as you mentioned, Jeff, like 32 without first with him. You don't have that anymore. So like as a coaching staff now, how do you go at it?
Okay. Are you guys ready? I woo-sawed it. So here's the thing. You've been practicing without him. If I'm being honest, I believe the position that Micah plays is the one on this roster, or one of the ones on this roster, that they are actually okay at. Now, to the point of you win with star players, there will never be an explanation for trading a Hall of Famer at the age of 26. That's insane. But if we want to draw up, like, how are you going to prepare? The answer is at least they're 6 deep with edge guys that are actual NFL players. The ghost of Kenny Clark will be your second best defensive tackle. That's useful. So if we're trying to draw the positive picture, which I can appreciate, sometimes my brain just won't let me when I'm really upset with somebody who's a terrible decision maker that's ruined a football team for 3 decades. But you need Ezeraku to be good as a rookie. You've got a handful of other guys that are at least NFL players. You don't have the game changer. You're strengthening the interior a little bit. I don't think the defense is going to be good. I think Eberflus is screwed. I think this is an unfair deal for Shoddy to be going in and having to do this. I think more than ever, this team is going to be Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, and George Pickens. How many can y'all score? How many can you? And then we're going to hope that they draft their ass off.
Let's talk about the pass rushers. I mean, going forward, you got Kenny Clark to help the defensive line. But let's talk about the pass rush. Now we understand why they loaded up on all these damn pass rushers, I guess.
Well, and I don't think it's not a good group, but it's better than some spots on their team. Like Dante Fowler, that's a reasonable NFL pass rusher. Marshawn Nealand, that's a reasonable NFL player. Ezeraku, you hope, has a good rookie season, and I think he can be a nice, at least just pass rusher. Sam Williams, James Houston, and as I'm going through the names, once you take the name Micah from it, God, it's no longer a good group. It sounds like a good group when Micah's at the top of it. It does not.
The grade sits high because of what Micah was. It was sitting around a positive grade because it was all hinging around Micah Parsons being on the field, getting everyone else one-on-one opportunities and those type of plays, game in and game out.